On last week's episode, we discovered that the Volvo has really poor lock clearance for drifting, so this episode, we're going to do some serious cutting and make the wheels fit. No, I'm more about the cut twice, measure once. I think that solves the clearance problems. This looks crazy. Whoa, that's a light. Very crude, 40 quid instead of 800 quid. We're basically back to square one again.
And I'ma do it again. Watch me.
Right guys, we're back in the workshop working on your favourite Volvo. Last weekend we were at Japfest at Silverstone with the Corvette, which is here, and we had a great time making sure the engine's running sweet, ready to go, well, for the same one to work in the Volvo. So we had a great time, did 2 sessions, then we broke the wheel studs. But what I found was, apart from driving the car, which was so much fun, one of the coolest things was just to see so many of you guys come up, say hello, wanted to take pictures and get an autograph. I mean, that was surreal. Yeah, and thank you all for watching the build and yeah, coming along to say hi. But on today's episode then, we are going to sort some of the issues that we discovered last time. So now we've got the car back on the ground, trying the lock kit, we realised we have really poor wheel clearance. So we're gonna basically cut the front of the car off, roughly from here, everything forward and make a tube frame. That will give us more clearance around this area as well and allow us to mount all the bits inside the engine bay that we haven't done so yet. But first of all, we've also got the same problem in the back, but not for lock, just for height, because we're wanting to run the car much lower with much bigger wheels than factory intended. Cool, so first thing on the list of jobs to do today, leading on from last video where we encountered this problem. We've got lots of poke and not much clearance. So Ben is just removing the back of the Volvo again in 5 easy steps. And we are going to do a lot of cutting for some clearance. So yeah, let's get to that. Get the grinder ready. You can always cut more off. So we've got it all marked out on the outer skin. We're going to cut that and then we'll find out how we're going to cut the inner skin. But first of all, we should probably take off the nice shiny wheels so we don't do any damage. Should we put something over the brakes quick? Right, so Ben's done a fantastic job cutting the rear of the Volvo. We've now created ourselves probably about another 3 inches of travel, which is all we're going to need on this car. We still have a little bit of fettling to do just to remove the sharp edges and then just patch up some holes to not let the smoke in the front of the car. But overall, that's the biggest part of the job done. And the back of the car is pretty much complete now. So yeah, just some last little things like the firewall to do, and then we're good to go with the back. So now we're onto the front. We have got to do some cutting. We put the engine back in with the turbo just to kind of get a good idea of where everything's going to go. We've been doing lots of measurements, working out last little bits and pieces where everything's going to go. So we've got the dry sump tank to go. We can either put that here or inside the car. Personally, I don't really like it in the car. One, because it's oil inside the car. And also it makes the hoses really, really long, so there's more possibility of contamination and priming issues, which you avoid if it's nice and close. So I think we'll go with that there. We've got a power steering pump to go in, a couple more catch cans for the overflow fluids, and that's about it. So now we've got this, we've done some measuring, we're going to take the engine back out and then start cutting. Right, so we put the bonnet back on because where we're going to cut this whole section out, we need some reference points so the Volvo doesn't end up looking cross-eyed when we finish it. So essentially we put the bonnet down, bolt it back up, that's lined up. The wings are still like loosely, but when we got a nice gap from against the bonnet, we know where this is going to end, which then means we know where the lights are going to end, and we can kind of build off that. So that's first thing. Stage first, we're working on the Volvo. Volvo has a nice feature, we can make the bonnet vertical. Everyone keeps telling us that in the comments. So yeah, now we're going to show that so nobody can tell us we've done it wrong. Another thing that we're really excited about seeing is these lead plates everyone keeps telling us about. So where we're going to cut this out, we'll get this weight out. We've started doing some drawings where we're going to cut. But first of all, yeah, we're going to take the engine out, so let's crack on. Gave Ben the shit job of going underneath. He's having great fun.
Without losing any more fingers.
Yeah.
You can probably clap a little bit more now.
Timmy. Who put the headlight there? Now we've got the engine out. So we've got a couple of things to do here. One, firstly, we're going to cut this whole section of the car out. That is going to give us a lot more clearance and solve the problem of wheel lock hitting, well, the wheels hitting the inner arch. That is, however, going to weaken this bit a little bit. So what we can do is we're going to weld a plate on here and strengthen that to the chassis that way. Not this one, but something similar. Then we can cut a nice bar on the top and on the bottom and go from there. First, we're going to have to tackle these springs before we can cut anything, and they look dangerous. So wish me luck. Oh, that was boring. That one was a bit louder. There's so many ways you can do this. And we're just going to attack it head on. Lots of calculations. Measuring. No, I'm more about the cut twice, measure once. So we'll cut just behind that.
Yep.
Cut along here, or whatever you find. Cut along here.
Probably best to keep that mouth now, right? So let's come in here.
Yeah, let's just cut to the front of that one. Cut along here.
Straight to there.
Cut. Leave the chassis rail for
So
now.
there. Basically cut this along there. Cut this section.
Cut this section out here and leave the light upright.
So leave that up like that.
So it's just on the front. So it's a bit floppy, but we can still use it. He's getting a head start. I've lost my gloves. You can never even tell. That was noisy. Tag team grinding. Okay. Get me over out. Well, I think that solves the clearance problems. Right, so quick little update. We have done the rough cutting and it looks totally different now. It actually looks like a drift car now. We have got a lot of making better to do. But whilst we're cutting out rough bits, when we had it fully down on the ramp, we also realised we have clearance problems here like we did in the back. So we're going to make this a bit bigger and go from there. Right, so we've cut out a load of the original Volvo metal. We have got lots of clearance for all the angle. This looks crazy. I don't think once it's on the ground it's going to be quite that big angle, but maybe pretty close. We've left the lights on just for the minute, just to kind of help us line things up. But now we're going to cut them off because what we're going to do is going to do a full tube frame front. The reason for that is it just gives us more adjustability or potential where to put things, but also for when we have a crash in the future, it's just going to take the impact a bit better and be easier to then replicate afterwards. We'll be able to carry spares and so on. So last little bit, we'll cut the front off and then it won't look like a Volvo anymore. Behind here is one of these strange things that all Volvo owners know. There, if we can get it out, Yeah, so inside here, apparently, there is a bit of lead plate, which is very hard to remove. Oh, here we go. I think I've hooked it. Whoa, that is, people said there was a lead weight inside the chassis rails. I didn't expect it to be like 5 kilos.
That's huge.
Have a feel of that.
Jesus.
Not messing about.
That's crazy.
Now, I think that's just put in there just to make Volvos safe as vehicles when you crash, because if you hit anyone with that, you're going to knock them off the road instead of you. Yeah, have a look at that then. That's got to be 5 kilos, isn't it? That's a light. Right, so that was one of those jobs that made a really big difference in a short amount of time. So we've been lacking those on the channels because what we've been doing lately has been taking really long time to do little things. So that was cool. But now we've got a long road ahead of us to do lots of measuring, lots of cutting to making sure we can build this up without it going cross-eyed, like we said earlier. So Louis is gonna shoot off. Me and Ben are gonna continue through the night and tomorrow to get this done. And then when Louis comes back, we should hopefully have something that resembles a Volvo again, albeit more race car. So stay tuned, see you later.
3 hours later.
Look at this, the whole front end.
Yeah, we cracked on and we've got a tube framed Volvo 740. So yeah, since last time you were here when we cut the front off, me and Ben have been very busy and we've actually done this ourselves as well. So
wow.
We have learnt the tube bend, I've learnt to TIG weld, and we built the front end. So I'm pretty stoked, to be honest, because I did not think this was going to go as well as it did.
It looks really good.
This looks way better than the other drift cars that I've had before, and we spent quite a bit of time trying to get it nice. So
this is really good.
Yeah, so obviously you've seen that we cut all this off. Oh, we've also got, both of us got a horrible cold and we're both dying, so get your zoom lens on.
Keep that. Oh God.
So yeah, we've obviously cut this out, and to make this strong again, we've welded some strong plate in here and then made these bracing bars here. So if we have a crash, that's gonna keep the struts towers protected and the engine safe. Then we've done this front crash section, which is removable. So if anything happens or if you need to take it off for access to anything, that's easy. And then we've done these bars that run along here, and that's going to allow us to mount the fenders and also the front lights. So we've now done one light. Mounting the lights is probably the trickiest thing to get right because you kind of lose all your reference points, and we're just going off the bonnet and the wing now. We're still missing our actual body kit, but we've been told it's exactly the same on this part as the original Volvo stuff, so it should be fine. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so what we've done, and we're actually using these new things called, they're known as cup and bungs. So these are actually made by Ryan Turk's new business, 411 Works in America. I saw an Instagram post that he put up literally as we were doing it, and I seen they do like these coped bungs already, so you can buy them ready kind of chamfered for the tube. It's got a threaded section through the middle, so you can weld that to your bar. You can either then mount stuff straight to that, or you can then bolt these other little sections on, which we're then using to make the brackets for the lights. So it's,
oh yeah, I can see on that side.
yeah, it's kind of guesswork in a way. These are just very roughly tacked into place because you're doing it blind. But essentially what we're doing is, you'll see in a minute, Ben's been getting up on a ladder. I've been lifting the car up. Ben's kind of holding the light to what we think is pretty much right, and then just kind of like tacking these bars into place, and then we can take it off and weld it properly. And that's it.
Nice.
Quite simple. And then you can just remove the lights by just undoing these 2 bolts, and it all comes off. So yeah, really simple. So now we are going to finish the last light, and then that's the front end pretty much done. Yeah, those are our bonnet levelers. Very crude, bit of self-tapper and a bit of metal, but it works mint. So the lights have sagged a little bit, so we actually need to put 1 bar on the bottom as well, just to lift them up. But we're gonna wait until we know what else we need to put in the front before we put any more bars in there. So do some sketchy things and get in here. That's That's one side on. I don't know if you can see me in here, it's like I'm in a cage.
Again.
But yeah, I can make these, I'm using these like welding rod, it's quite good just as a bit of a template. Lovely. You stand back now, ignore the grill because that's just cable tied to the bonnet very loosely. And it's very wonky. Actually, I could probably tighten that. Look at that. We're basically back to square one again. She looks like a Volvo. So yeah, I think we've decided we're going to actually keep the original style lights rather than go for the turbo brick ones from America. Mostly just so I don't want to look exactly like Kevin. He's got that look, he's got all the Kevlar exposed look. So we're going to keep these, just to keep them a bit different. I think that's going to be cool. What do you think? And they're also like, I don't know, 40 quid instead of 800 quid. So that works better when I crash. Oh, that was perfect. There we go. Yeah, I haven't actually welded that top one. Let's just have a look what it looks like and then we can weld it. Just that one there. We'll cut that a little bit. It'll probably sag a little bit.
Yeah,
but
sag a little bit.
that's all right, we'll get these welded up. Because what we can actually, yeah, then we can, when they're all welded, we can actually twist a bit. Before we put the bottom support in, we'll just do one from there to there. Should we get out of it? Cool, right, let's take that out and we can do it on the bench, but I reckon Louis needs to do a nice little nice sexy montage now. Right, now we need to take the lights off so we can finish doing the welding. So I'm going to see if this actually is an easy way to remove the lights or not. Here, we've got these cups and bungs.
And why do you want them to be easy?
Just so we can take them off if you have a crash or you need to do any maintenance or anything really. There we go. I'm trying not to drop this. But yeah, that just shows like the versatility of like this kind of mounting system because it's just super easy and it gives you lots of options. So these are, excuse the welding because it's not finished, but yeah, it's very difficult to try and make a mounting system like OEM where it's all pressed steel. So this just allows you to quite simply with like some round bar mount stuff, and you can use the same. I use the same thing on my Corvette to mount like the fuel filter filler holder and all sorts. So yeah, definitely these are super handy to have in your kind of fabrication toolkit. So yeah, definitely recommend those. Right, so that's about it for this episode. We've done a hell of a lot of fabrication, really doing lots of learning. It's super satisfying to do it yourself. I was definitely more of a MIG welder before, and now I'm getting more into TIG, which is a lot of fun. It takes a hell of a long time though. But what I thought is to get some engagement in the comments, we've got a giveaway from one of our partners, BMC Air Filters. So what we're gonna do is everyone who drops a comment with something about welding, if you prefer MIG welding or TIG welding, everyone who drops a comment will enter you a chance to win a BMC filter for your car. BMC make filters, replacement filters from everything from your Fiat 500 to your Lamborghini Huracan. So yeah, drop us a comment and then we can get that sorted. It's nice and easy for us to post as well. Unlike the Stonex stuff, which we're still trying to find from the first episode. But yeah, next up, we're gonna take this off, finish all the welding, and then we're gonna drop the engine back in and start placing all the things like the power steering pump, all the oil filter holders and everything that goes in here, because we're taking this car for wiring in 1 week at the same time when I go on holiday. So we've got a hell of a lot of work to do. So we best crack on, but yeah, it's gonna be really cool. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the video, it really helps. And see you on the next one.